time to go to a gym, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, if we go running, well, it's never been one of my things. It's got to have an engine in for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, car. So what are the different conversations you might have about health, be it with your family or your friends or?
Well, my wife will say whatever I put on my plate. You've got diabetes. You shouldn't be having this. You shouldn't be doing.
Oh, I see. Yeah. And would you say it's common to talk to friends about health stuff or not really?
Yeah, I mean, at work we talk about health quite often because, you know, very mixed age group office, and the guy sits opposite me, he's got prostate cancer, and he went off, had an operation, came back, and within a month he was driving down to Devon again.
Yeah.
You know, and you think, you know, I think he's silly in some ways, but a hero in another.
Yeah. And so when that was happening, he was quite open about what was going on and that.
Well, he's a very quiet guy, and we found out, and he was like, we were worried for him, but you know, thank God he's turned himself around, and you know, he's older than me, and he works hard. He's just become a granddad. You know, it's like a lady opposite me. She's got something wrong with her back, spondylitis or something, but she also had some sort of blood pressure problem connected with her brain. There was some pressure problems, and her husband a few years ago, got meningitis, and he was like touch and go whether he'd make it. So you get like another guy worked in the office and was from Hull, and had a heart attack in the office. It's like you see a bit of the world. Occasionally there's an industrial accident at work where, you know, some pallets fall on someone, or they fall off the back of a wagon. You know, you're always seeing something.
So it's, you know, there's not always something going on. It sounds, but
you're aware of different things.
But you get aware of different things. And then and I guess, are there certain topics that are kind of, you know, more or less comfortable talking about in terms of health with others, or is it just kind of quite
very open?
Really?
Very open. I mean, you know, we've got some girls in the office, and you know, we talk about everything in front of each other.
Yeah.
You know, have a laugh.
Yeah.
You know, one girl's just had cancer on her face. You know, she's early 20s.
Like a melanoma kind of thing.
Yeah, she's just had it cut out, and it's like, you know, I think most people I know would have been so devastated. She's been great with it.
Yeah.
But
they caught it early kind of thing.
Yeah, but you know, she's a sort of lives in a princess unreal world. Yeah. And you know, you ask, she's supposed to have had a university education with a degree, and she comes out with something the other day. She didn't know a bull was a male cow.
Right.
Didn't know the Queen, the religion of the country was Church of England. Yet you think, how do you live on this planet?
Yeah.
The most stupid things. Yet she's brilliant at what she does.
Yeah,
but, you know, you get some people, and like
just not common sense, but you're just like, how do you not know that kind of thing? Yeah. And then I guess, you know, maybe just talk a little bit more about healthcare providers. So, you know, how is your relationship with your GP? Is it generally quite positive, or how do you feel about the GP generally?
Is, when I got married, I moved to my wife's surgery.
Yeah.
Which was a local one in Bury, and they moved practice about half a mile down the road. It was, as it happened, a Jewish practice with, you know, quite a lot of different doctors there.
Yeah.
And I now see there's a Spanish doctor there who's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad had quite a lot of medical friends, and one of them was a very successful, eminent surgeon in Rochdale, and he had some illness when he was, I suppose, midlife. Not much further down the line from where I am now.
Yeah.
What would be 17? So where would he be? He got appendicitis, hiatus hernia, and kidney stones, gallstones, all in one go.
Wow.
We just moved house, and we didn't have a GP. and someone told his local GP to phone them, and they sent this surgeon round to the house because he was in Bupa at the time, and Dad thought he was the plumber, and he says, the bloody bath's round there, can you get all that brown tape off? I don't expect it to have that on. He says, I'm a plumber, I'm not that sort of plumber. And we became the most closest friends.
Oh, really?
And,
it sounds like something out of a comedy
sketch
show, doesn't
we
it?
We found out he was a very crude guy.
Yeah.
When the Falklands was on, he wanted to go to the Falklands because he was a TA guy as well.
Yeah.
He was a colonel because of his civilian rank as a top medic. They wouldn't let him go to the Falklands because he actually ran the health authority in Rochdale. Virtually, he was one of the best surgeons.
Yeah.
And he was like in Highfield, the private hospital they had, and it was like it was it's good to see someone like him. He died recently, but he trained under one of my dad's childhood pals, who became Lord Turnberg, who's one of the hospital. You'll know the Salford Royal Hope.
Yeah.
It's named after him now, Professor Turnberg, and he was the head of a British medical association or something.
Yeah.
He was top of the tree as far as medics went in the country.
So you know them personally, kind
My
of
dad
thing?
knows.
Or your dad,
My dad's
your dad,
friends,
yeah. And so the GP, you'll kind of generally go when something's wrong versus for no reason, basically. And do you feel like your relationship to visiting the GP's changed much in the last 2 to 3 years for whatever reason?
It's not as easy to get there.
Was it
when you
get
want,
an appointment?
yeah.
Or, yeah.
I mean, quite honestly, when I want a prescription now, I phone up, there's a second phone number for the prescription line, which is fantastic, because at first I was phoning up and trying to pick it up, and with them being closed over the weekend and me working out of town, I couldn't get my prescription.
Yeah.
And there's a chemist next door to it, but they were where they used to leave the prescriptions, but they were shut at weekends. So it was like, hang on, it's no good. And then someone told me that there's a new system where they'll send it.
Yeah. That's all right.
There's a new system where they send it to, say, to the local Asda, and I can pick it up virtually 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And you've got the exempt card for
yeah.
payment as well,
Yeah.
which I could never understand that. My daughter thought she had Crohn's. She was diagnosed with Crohn's, but then we found out it wasn't.
Oh, right, that's
and
good.
she had to pay for her medication, and yet I was getting free. And as a student, you would have thought she would have been exempt from paying, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It's just,
well, I'm asthmatic, and I'm always like, it's not my fault. Not that everything, not everything everyone's fault, but it's always felt difficult to have to pay all that money all the time just for having asthma.
But you look at other things. It's such an unfair country, because my wife, when she buys her medication, she had a what do you call it, gastric bypass several years ago on the National Health, to be honest, from the same practice, and I suppose she changed about, I know, from an 18 to a 12 or something like that, and she kept her weight off by going swimming and things, so that's why she goes to the gym. But I wasn't for her going to have that, but she goes there and she has to have all the different vitamins all the time and different supplements to make sure that everything's right.
Oh, I see. So make sure you're absorbing enough nutrients.
And I buy her a prepaid prescription, but when you look at it, if you're in Scotland or Wales, you don't pay for your prescriptions. At all. Or, I could go on about what's name fees as well, student fees, but that's another story which we're not on.
Well, I know.
But
and in Scotland you end up with a master's degree, don't you? Not just a BA kind of thing.
It's mad.
Yeah.
But you look at it, far more people are not paying for prescriptions.
Yeah. No, because then I found out you could do the prepayment thing, which if you're getting a lot, it
it's
really
cheap.
works out.
I was telling the girl in the office, she couldn't believe how cheap it was compared to what she paid out.
I don't know if they don't tell people about it because they don't want everyone to do it, but it is a lot cheaper if you've got a few things on like a
especially
regular
now it's gone up, yeah.
Yeah. And then, so you kind of, nothing's really changed in, it's harder to, a bit harder to get an appointment these days, but generally nothing's really affected